Why, hello everyone. This is Kaiju 2014-117 returning. I know it's been such a long time since my last video. So, just to give you guys heads up, I will do some updates on the Godzilla videos very soon and some update on my collections that is in my room. So, which I will show you my collections later on. But in the meantime, let's talk about COVID-19. So, I know COVID-19 is the biggest topic for that's happened to us recently, and it's really annoying, and then lots of things happening. But I also hear rumors that they're already starting to do COVID-19 testing as well vaccines, and there were some positive things about it. But until when it's finalized, we'll have to wait and see. For now, just continue to stay safe. Speaking of COVID-19, let's talk about that. So, what kind of topic should we talk about? Something that a game recently came out, Resident Evil 3, and I did play the game, which I'll do a review about that game later on. But today, let's do a video game review for Resident Evil Origin Collections, which involves with Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil. So, which one should I start first? We'll start how it all began. We'll talk about of course, the story of Resident Evil 1. Well, basically Resident Evil Remake. So what's the story about? So the story is about, I believe it's the Alpha team of stars that involves with Chris, Jill, Wesker, and Barry. And then I think there's a fifth guy. Oh, I forgot his name. But all five of them went into search for, I think, Bravo team. If I'm getting the teams wrong, just let me know. They were searching for them until they were under attack by an undead dog, an undead zombie dog that killed one of the members, and all four of them ran into the mansion. So that takes place in the Arklay Mountains, and this is taking place somewhere in July of 1998. And that's how their nightmare began. So, what do I like about this game? I like the horror elements. I like how it was all puzzle-like. We had to find the keys to fit into the doors, and that was quite challenging. And the first time I played that game, it was quite challenging, and it was I was like all over the place. And then I started to see why many people love the originals. It's not because it's just so hard to find the keys. It's actually pretty interesting because once you find the keys, you feel rewarded to find the right keys to fit into the doors, get all the sweet items, and then to kill the zombies. Now, I was okay with the voice actings, but it was kind of, I guess you can say, simple. But anyways, I do love Resident Evil. It was one of my favorite series of all time. Now, just to give you a heads up, Resident Evil 1 was not my first Resident Evil game, nor 0 or any of the prequels. But I'll tell you what it is, but later on. So, and then even though I was not introduced to the Resident Evil games, I was actually introduced to Resident Evil films before I knew it was actually based on a game, which I was like curious why many people don't like Resident Evil movies. They keep saying it was based on a video game, and I'm like, is there, or is it a Resident Evil games that's based on the films? I found out it's actually the other way around. So that's why I got into the Resident Evil series. And of course the sequels and the later series. And we'll talk more about that. But anyways, so Resident Evil 1, I do like the gameplays. I do like how horrifying the game feels. Especially, it just gives me big scare jumps. Including some of the zombies that were really hard to kill. Especially when I try to aim for the zombies. Unfortunately, you cannot really aim their heads. Is because you had to... Hopefully, you actually aim the heads. Unless you are using a shotgun and get close enough and then aim up and then shoot them in the head. However, the only thing I'm not a big fan of is, of course, camera changes. Well, at least in some certain areas, they change cameras to see our characters. At least it's not like random. There's a specific spots where they change cameras. So am I a big fan of those? I'm okay with it, actually. But I know there were some, not saying all of them, some of the Resident Evil fans are not a huge fan of it, which is why they prefer the third-person view. Well, others who actually prefer it that way. But overall, that one, not saying that it's a very bad game. I do also love is the item box and save slots that we can use our ink ribbons and then to save it. That's actually a pretty genius idea, and I love that. And overall, I do love Resident Evil Remake, the first one, of course. So what do I think about the game? Well, I would give this game an 8 out of 10 because that's actually a pretty good game and I love it in a way. But of course, I do feel the characters' simplistic lines were kind of simple, and I feel they should add more into the character. At least that's from my personal opinion. Anyways, but let's also go to the next one, Resident Evil 0. So, Resident Evil 0 is basically talking about before Resident Evil 1, which focused on one of the Bravo team members, especially the recent new and youngest member, Rebecca Chambers. And then she meets Billy, one of the convicts that escaped from custody, which he was framed for a military crimes. But what's this game about? Basically, something happens when the train got stopped by an unidentified villain or antagonist that causes a lot of destruction and deaths, and they had to investigate it. But anyways, I did like Resident Evil 0. It feels like Resident Evil 1, but has, I believe, a better characters to what I think. And I feel like Resident Evil 0 is like a 9 out of 10 for me. Now, I do love that we can pick up items if we need to drop them, especially on the ground, so we can pick them up later. However, I do wish they actually still keep the item box, but they still give us a safe, the save typewriter that we always like to use, and we had to find the ink ribbons. But overall, I don't want to spoil too much, but I do recommend for you guys to play these kind of games if you are a huge Resident Evil fan, especially for those who are hardcore fans. So overall, for this whole package, I would say it's a 10 out of 10 because 2 games for a price of, I think it was $39.99. Why not? And it's available for Xbox One and PS4. But anyways, I do highly recommend it for you guys, especially if you guys got nothing to do, you want to fight the virus, we can play this game, which this game is based off from the T virus that's happening to all those people that turn into zombies. Anyways, that is it for today, and I will continue to do a Resident Evil video game review. So these are one of my top favorite games, and I will tell you more what is my favorite game. Anyways, till next time, this is Kaiju 2014-117 signing off.